Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. So, what was on sale at the grocery store this week? Not a lot. I didn't find anything with like 50 or 30% off stickers that I usually find at my regular grocery store. And then Julie showed me a flyer from Farm Boy. I never go to Farm Boy. I don't find Farm Boy that interesting. I find it expensive. Anyway, they had bacon on ultra cheap. So I got some bacon and I made some lasagna for the freezer. And because we had some lasagna sheets left over, like pasta sheets left over, I've just cut the sheets up roughly. And we're going to use that. I've got some mushrooms here. We're going to make a bacon mushroom white wine pasta. See what happens. So the bacon's all chopped up. We're going to throw it in the pan and we're going to fry it, get it crispy, render out the fat. In this measuring jug, I have some dried mushrooms, mixed dried mushrooms. Need to reconstitute that, and I'm going to do something probably sacrilegious. I don't feel good about this. So I was going to use white wine later in the sauce. I really like white wine in sauces. It releases a lot of flavor. The alcohol and the acid in a white wine releases a lot of flavors from other things, especially tomatoes. So I was going to be throwing it in later, and I thought, oh, I need to reconstitute these dried mushrooms. I'll do it in the white wine. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to stick this in the microwave, and I'm going to heat the wine up so that the mushrooms reconstitute quicker. I know that sounds crazy. But I was going to throw the white wine into the pot later anyway. So we're going to be cooking the wine. What's the difference whether I do it now in a microwave or later in the pot? So, about a minute in the microwave. Okay, take a look at the bacon here. It's looking pretty good. We'll get a bowl. And if you don't want to cook with wine, that's fine. You could do that just with hot water or chicken stock. Definitely chicken stock. Do it with hot water or chicken stock. When you put the tomatoes in, I'd splash in a little bit of vinegar to bring some acidity and some balance to the dish that you're going to miss by not having the wine. The acidity will also help with flavor as well, like pulling flavors out of the other things, especially the tomatoes. Now, you could also go completely veg with this dish and don't use the bacon. Just use whatever oil you use in your home and start out with the next step, which is the mushrooms, and use water or wine with the dry mushrooms and make this totally veg. Throw in some beans. If you wanted to throw in some beans, they would certainly extend this sauce quite a bit. So I've left the oil, bacon fat in the bottom of the pan. That'll help with the mushrooms. Now, I've got 3 different kinds of mushrooms here. This is a baby king oyster, I think. This is a cremini. This, I have no clue, but it's got a really super funky smell. A little bit worried about it, but we'll find out what happens. The starting point for a dish like this is someone would go out into the forest and forage, very early on, bring home whatever mushrooms they found, and the mushrooms would change from season to season or day to day, depending on what they were doing out there. So I've taken these 3 mushrooms and I've cut them up. I would suggest using a mix of mushrooms because they will each bring different flavors. They will bring different textures. They'll break down a little bit differently. But, use whatever you can find. So at this point, I'm just going to fry these and get them to release most of their moisture. I'll let them break down quite a bit. It's the kind of thing where if your bacon didn't give off too much fat, throw in some more bacon fat. If you save bacon fat, again, if you don't save bacon fat, then throw in whatever oil you use in your kitchen just to kind of keep the bottom free and lubricated. So that'll take a little while to get started. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in at this point and a little bit of pepper. And these are softening up nicely, so just a little bit more time on those. No hurry. The fresh mushrooms are cooking down nicely. They've reduced in volume by at least 2/3 at this point. So going to prep. I'm going to prep the dry mushrooms. Of course, your hands are clean. You're working in the kitchen. So I'm going to pull the dry mushrooms out of the wine. I'm going to squeeze them. Squeeze as much of the wine back into the jug. These last couple. That actually smells really good. I wonder if a sommelier would look at me sideways if I asked for a glass of white wine with a side of dried mushroom. And we'll just chop these up. Okay, these go into the pan. As well as some chopped up shallot and a couple of cloves of garlic chopped up. The shallots are limp and translucent at this point. They've cooked nicely. So in goes the wine. This is it's for making, I don't know, nut milk. I've never made nut milk with it, but I understand that's what it's for. It's a super fine mesh strainer. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes the mushrooms can have quite a bit of grit in the bottom, and you'll get it in the bottom of the cup when you do this. And there was quite a bit in that one. So strain it out just to be safe. No one wants grit in their pasta. So bring this up to a simmer, and we'll get rid of probably 3/4 of the liquid at this point. Oh, some chopped up thyme. There we go. The wine is reducing nicely. So we come to the tomatoes. Got a can of tomatoes. They're whole tomatoes. It's going to be okay. I have a knife. I have lots of knives that are meant for this task. This is not a good knife. This knife is meant for doing exactly this. I'm not worried about ruining the knife. It's long ruined. I don't think it was very good to begin with. So, whole tomatoes, and I just run the knife through the tomatoes in the can. You can break them up in your hand. You can put them into a bowl and break them up in your hand. You could put them really quickly into a food chopper if you wanted to. Depends how big you want the pieces to be. I like the chunks a little more chunkier, but I don't want a whole tomato, you know what I mean? So I just do this with the knife. It'll be okay. It's a beater knife. It's a beater. I've got a whole bunch of beaters for doing different things. I've got beaters for cutting up stuff that's frozen. I've got beaters for squash that's really tough and hard. You know, and if you don't have this knife, then just throw it in a bowl and crush it up with your hands. But I think that's pretty good. Okay. Tomatoes go in. We'll stir that together. I will probably reduce the heat down to 4. My cooktop goes to 9, so I'll put it down to 4, and I'll let this simmer for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. There we go. Okay, so it is time to put the pasta in. And I'm not going to cook it fully. We're going to finish cooking it in the sauce. Okay, fresh pasta doesn't take long at all. I love this basket because I can drain it, stick it into the sauce, and I've still got some water that I can loosen up the sauce when I need to. And let's toss the bacon in. Doesn't seem to be as much bacon as when I cooked it. Toss that together and we'll finish cooking the pasta in the sauce. Okay, so we're ready to go. We'll scoop this out. I'm going to put some cheese on top. Now,
Hurrah, there's going to be cheese! Hey, friends, hey, Glen.
You've tasted this all the way through, right? And you've adjusted your salt and your pepper level. There's a case to be made for capers.
Ooh.
Chopped up pickled hot peppers. Mm-hmm. If you're someone who loves this spice mix. Throw that in. I mean, you're cooking this for yourself, so the basic flavors are here. Bring it to what you like it, and do what you like. It's your food. It's your dinner. Cheese, Julie?
Oh, yeah, I almost missed the cheese. I was so excited to see what we were having. And did you throw those mushrooms in that
Yeah. Yes.
that got gifted to us?
Yes.
Someone who didn't like mushrooms got them in their packet.
Those were the really funky ones that I said I was a little bit worried about, but I've been tasting this and they taste great in the mix.
Yeah, they'd bring a great flavor to it.
Yeah. Okay. So, wrong kind of pasta. That's fine. Don't care. It's covered in sauce.
It's leftover pasta, right? It's not leftover, but it's from a lasagna we had earlier. Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Oh. That's really good. So you can make this completely veg. You can make this vegan. Full-on vegan.
I like all the mushrooms in it.
Yeah.
I like that umami flavor, earthy flavor, whatever you want to call it.
And slightly different textures from the different mushrooms. So that came together really quickly. That was,
Pasta usually does.
but you don't, I mean, from a standpoint of this is not a sauce that you need to cook all day.
Yeah.
You could cook it all day if you wanted to, but you don't need to. I'm really happy with that.
And it might be like most sauces. It might be better tomorrow.
It probably will be better tomorrow.
Saucy things often are.
Yeah.
Yeah, this'll do fine, my friend. This'll do just fine.
So that's what's for dinner tonight. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.
I'm a little bit hungry, apparently.
Me too. That's good. But yeah, capers, just to have that little salty
salty
ball.
bit?
Yeah.
I have learned that recently, eating in various more formal places, that just that little bit of salty.
Yeah.
Just
A little bit of anchovy paste, like a tiny little bit of anchovy paste, would be really good too. Huh.
I guess the one thing I like about the capers though is that they're little bits of surprises versus it's
Yeah.
everywhere.